शतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर वासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे. So we finished Balram Avatar in the last class. So today we will be doing about Buddha Avatar. And after Buddha Avatar, it's Kalki Avatar, and then we complete this module. And then we will begin with the next module, which is on Acharyas. So, like we discussed in the initial classes, Bhakti Sadhachar is comprised of 3 modules. Okay, so Dashavatar is just one of those modules. So, we've just completed one module. So, we have 2 more to go. And certificates will be given out based on each module. Okay, on completion of one module, after analyzing your attendance, you'll be given your certificate. Okay, let's begin. So, can anybody tell me what do you know about Buddha Avatar? Who is he? Who is Buddha? What did he do? Who knows? Okay, so Buddha is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu himself, and he's also said to be the saint. He's not really recognized as an incarnation as such, but common people, ordinary people, recognize him to be a saint. Okay, a sadhu, a sage, more than an incarnation of the Lord. And I think that's how most of us learnt also about Buddha. In our schools and all that, we've learnt about Buddha, right? They don't really introduce him as an incarnation of Vishnu, but they just tell he's a great reformer, saint. That's what they say, right? Uh, one moment. So today we will be learning in detail about entirely about Buddha, whatever is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, and whatever we are supposed to know about him. Okay, let's begin. People will join, we will start. So he's also called as Kali Yuga Avatar because he comes, there is a separate religion only on Buddha, right? He comes and transforms a lot of, bad practices which people were thinking right? People were thinking slaughtering animals were right, but Buddha comes and changes that. He comes and says, no, it's wrong, and Buddha also helps people how to come out of that habit, right? So we have Buddhists today who are factually supposed to be vegetarians because they're completely against slaughtering of animals, right? And that's why he's called Kali Yuga Avatar, because Kali Yuga is known for killing others and for their sense gratification, killing animals and eating, right? For they get a lot of out of it. So Buddha comes and transforms it. He brings, right? That's called Kali. So there's more about Buddha Avatar. We will be learning it one by one. Okay, we will begin with the Shavatar Stotra. So Jayadev Goswami has composed a verse on Buddha Avatar as well. He says that the Lord, okay, fine. So here, there's a summary of the entire, all the 10 incarnations, Dashavatar in Gita Govinda. So what does it say? First, it begins with Matsyavatar. Okay, so what happens in Matsyavatar? Anybody knows what happens in Matsyavatar? Why did the Lord come as Matsya? What did he
To
do?
save the Vedas.
To save the Vedas, and he helped some king, no? Who is that? Satyavrat, right? He was a small fish when and eventually he grew and grew and grew and grew and gigantically, and whichever container Satyavrat was putting him in, he was growing there also, right? And finally, he said, I will send a big huge boat. There's going to be tsunami, there's going to be flood, there's going to be water destruction, and I will come as I will come and save you. And Satyavrat was given a duty, right? What was that? Collect all living entities that you see around, all the Saptarishis, everybody, and put in that boat. I'll send you a huge boat, and I will be the anchor of that boat. That's what Matsyavatar, the Lord says in Matsyavatar, right? And then he says, that's how I will be safely going to take you from one part of the one end of the ocean to the other end on the other bank of the ocean. And finally, that's how it happens, right? He saves the Satyavrat, he says, and the other was, like Mataji said, Vedas. Vedas were being the sea demon, one of the sea demon, and that's when Matsyavatar, Lord, comes as fish and goes deep inside the sea and kills the demon and saves the Vedas. Next, tortoise, Kurmavatar. What did Krishna do in Kurmavatar?
He took the form of tortoise
And acted as a pivot for the Mandara Hill, right? So that they can churn the ocean and the for nectar, churning the ocean for nectar, and to help them churn, tortoise acted. The shell of the tortoise acted as the pivot, and then they churned, and finally, the same Lord came in the form of Mohini Murti to distribute nectar to devatas, right? Not demons. So that is the purpose of tortoise. Just like a revision of the entire module here, right? And then next, what happened? Boar incarnation. So Varaha Avatar. So what did Lord do as Varaha Avatar? Whom did he kill? What did he do? What did Varahadev do? Who knows?
he killed Hiranyaksha,
Kanyaksha. Very good. Why did he?
and because Hiranyaksha had hid the Vedas.
Hmm. Very. He Earth, Mother Earth, deep.
In the mother earth.
Varahadev came, killed Hiranyaksha, rescued Earth, Mother Earth, and put her back in the orbit, solar system. Right? And next, Narsimhadev. Why did Narsimhadev come? What was the purpose of that incarnation? And what is the specialty of that incarnation? Who wants to answer?
Mataji, Narasimha came to kill Hiranyakashipu. He
Yeah,
didn't he didn't let the knowledge of Krishna pass, Mataji.
yeah. Haribol. Very nice. And what is the specialty of Narsimhadev? How does he look?
He's half lion and half human, Mataji.
Haribol. Very nice. And he came especially to protect Prahlad, and then secondary purpose was to kill Hiranyakashipu. Okay, primary purpose was to protect Prahlad. Krishna always comes for Paritranaya Sadhunam, then Vinashaya Chadaskritam. Okay, just to protect the
devotees.
yeah, and then to destruct the miscreants. And then next, Vamanadev, what did he do? Why did he come? What happened in Vamana Avatar?
Ma'am, he asked for, sorry, Mataji, he asked for uh, three, three lands, three worlds or something from Bali Maharaj.
3 steps of land. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 steps of land.
Yeah, very nice. And then he occupied everything and finally Bali Maharaj's head also. Right? And then next what happened? Parashuram Avatar. What happened in Parashuram Avatar? What did Parashuram do? And what is the meaning of the name Parashuram? Who knows?
I was absent, Mataji.
Anybody else? Parashuram means what? Yeah, I got an answer in the chat. Right, and his name is Ram, and since his weapon is axe, he Parashu, he got the name Parashuram. Okay, yeah, very nice. And he came to destroy 21 times bad kshatriyas, right? Bad kshatriyas. So that so basically it is compared to cleaning the land, right? When you clean the agricultural field to sow good seeds, farmers usually clean the agricultural field, right? So that's what Parashuram's incarnation is compared to. He came and he cleaned the earth completely from all these dirty people, bad kshatriyas or bad kings, right? Demons who claim themselves to be kings, and he actually fed Mother Earth with their blood. That's what it is said, right? And 21 times he happened to continuously kill bad demons, demonly kings. Right, and next Lord Ram came. Lord Ram, we all know what happened in Ram Avatar. And then Balram. Balram came, right, and then next is Kalki and then Buddha. Okay, so here it's given why Buddha avatar happened, right? Why did Buddha avatar happen? Basically, in one line, if we have to summarize it, it's because Buddha came to, as given here, save the poor animals from being slaughtered. In the name of sacrifice, people were actually slaughtering animals for their sense gratification. But they used to give the reason, saying, okay, yeah, in Vedas it is mentioned, okay, animal sacrifices is very auspicious. So we are following the Vedas. We are not doing anything outside of that. So we are killing animals. But the whole purpose mentioned in the Vedas is completely different from what these people, were doing. So they kind of manipulated the whole purpose, right? So they were killing animals and they were eating it. Rather, in the Vedas, it's given with the mantra shakti and proper Pancharatrika Vidhi. If you sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord, then what happens? Those animals are going to be given a human form of life in their very next janma. They don't have to wait, right? Suppose you're killing a dog, the dog doesn't have to wait for its human form life after life. The very next janma, it can get human form. And then a dog can become a devotee, serve the Lord, and get delivered back home, back to Godhead. That is the main purpose of animal sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. But what people used to do, they misinterpreted that, not actually misinterpreted, they on purpose manipulated it, and they wanted to taste these animals, they wanted to eat, right? So they started sacrificing animals, including uh, you know um uh, uh, saintly animals. No, we call cow and bull as our mother and father. They are considered saintly. So even such animals, they did not omit. They also they started killing and eating, right? So Buddha couldn't, the Lord couldn't tolerate of treatment for animals. They are also Krishna's children only. So Lord came in the form of Buddha to stop this, right, and create a revolution in this, in this Kali Yuga, right? So what revolution we will see in future, I mean in further slides. Okay, so these are some of the descriptions of the incarnations emanating from Krishna. And from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that innumerable incarnations are always coming out from the body of Krishna, just like waves in the ocean. No one can even count how many waves are there. And similarly, no one can even count how many incarnations are coming from Lord's body, right? So, it's given in third chapter, first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said, Krishna, there are so many incarnations, but Krishna is the source of all incarnations, right? So all these incarnations that we just saw, right, the 10 incarnations are all coming from Krishna. And Krishna is not an incarnation. He is the source of of any other incarnation. And so here it's given, it's all coming out from the body of Krishna, right? The very first expansion of Krishna, in fact, if you see, it is Balram, right? So that way Krishna is not an incarnation. He is not an avatar. And every other avatar comes from this particular avatar called Krishna, right? And also we need to understand, that's why the analogy given here is like how wave dies, there is a there is a wave coming, new wave coming, right? So you cannot really count the number of waves at any instant, at any point in time in an ocean, right? Same way, you cannot really count the number of incarnations Krishna has, right? It's innumerable. You cannot really count, right? So for each purpose, Krishna incarnates, or he either empowers a living entity. So we have multiple empowered incarnations, right? Purushavataras are the four Vishnus the three Vishnus that we have, they are Purushavataras, right? First Purusha is Karanodakshaya Vishnu. We discussed this in the previous classes. The second Vishnu is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then the third Vishnu is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So Karanodakshaya Vishnu is the one who assimilates all the ingredients needed for the creation of this world. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the one who creates the planetary systems. Universe is created by Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu creates the planets for that particular universe. Okay, that way there are multiple universes, right? Each universe has one Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and each planetary systems, each set of planetary systems for each particular universe is again created by that particular Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So there are a lot of Vishnus also, right? And Kshirodakshaya Vishnu enters in each of those planetary systems, each of those each living entity is in the heart in the form of Paramatma, right? So for every particular planet, every world, there is one Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, right? So there are innumerable Vishnus also, and there are three kinds. Those are Purusha avatars. Then we have Guna avatars, the three gunas that we have, right? Triguna of the material world. That is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, right? So in the mode of goodness, we have Vishnu. Vishnu is in charge of the mode of goodness because he's the maintainer. For maintaining something, you need goodness, right? And for mode of destruction, it is you need mode of, to destroy something, you should be ignorant. Mode of ignorance is needed, right? So Lord Shiva is in charge of the mode of ignorance. He is not in the mode of ignorance. He is just in charge of the mode of ignorance because his duty is to destroy this material manifestation when Krishna orders, right? And then we have creation, to create something, to come up with something, some idea, something, right? To mode of passion should be there. So that's why Lord Brahma is in charge of mode of passion, to create, right? And Brahma is also called Visarga, right? He is the secondary creator. Sarga is Vishnu. The Lord has already created the basic, right? Brahma just comes and does the detailing, right? So that's why Brahma is called the secondary creator. Yes, he is the creator, but he is not the primary creator. He is the secondary creator. Okay, so those are the Gunavataras, and then we have Leelavataras, right? Leelavataras are all these Dashavataras that we just studied, right? All of them are Leelavataras. They come and perform some or the other pastime. Leela means pastime, right? Something they perform, and then they go back. That is Leelavataras. And then Shakti Aveshavataras. These are the empowered incarnations. When the situation demands, right? And if Krishna does not have to really come down in the form of an avatara, he just empowers the living entity in that particular situation. Some living entity he chooses and empowers to carry out the task, right? So those are called empowered incarnations. So that's why all the preachers are said to be empowered incarnations. They're all empowered in some or the other level, right? To some or the other level, so that they can preach Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is said to be a Shakti Avesha avatar. He's an empowered incarnation. And he also brought about a revolution of Krishna consciousness, right? In this world. So he is an empowered Acharya also, we say. Narada Muni is another empowered incarnation, right? So many empowered incarnations we have. And next, we have Manvantara avatars, all the Manus, right? Manus are all humans. Manus are said to be father of mankind. We all humans descend from Manu. And Manu is none other than another representative of the Lord itself, right? So he is he's a Manvantara avatara. He is also Lord only in Manu avatar, right? He is the father of mankind. He's given us Manu Samhita, right? Like how we have constitution of India, we have a constitution, right, for India, and we follow all the rules and regulations which are mentioned in the constitution of India, right? It's like a law book that we have, right? Same way, how a human being needs to behave, what a human being needs to do, everything is given in Manu Samhita, and we have to follow the orders of that Manu Samhita, right? Manu Samhita is what is given by Manus. And so that's why it's called, every Manu is again a representation of the Lord, incarnation of the Lord. That kind of incarnation, it's called Manvantara avatars. And then we have Yuga avatars, right? And there are more kinds of avatars. These are just select few that I've listed here, right? Yuga avatars is in that particular yuga, the most important incarnation is considered. Like for Satya Yuga, we consider Narsimhadev, right? And then for Treta Yuga, it's Ram. And for Dwapar Yuga, we consider Balram, right? And for Kali Yuga, we consider it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so he's Krishna. So we consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Yuga avatar. So this way, we have millions, of incarnations of the Lord. Each incarnation is according to the purpose of, purpose of that particular, why that incarnation has to come down, what that incarnation has to do, right? It is all purpose based. According to the purpose, the Lord selects a body, right? Like Matsya, Kurma, Matsya avatar, because the Vedas were stolen by a sea demon, and he was deep inside the sea. Only a fish can swim comfortably in a sea, right? So Krishna came down in the form of a fish, right? So this way, according to the purpose, again, Varahadev also, earth was hidden in a filthy place, and only pigs and boars can go in that, can live in filth, right? So he chose to come down as a boar, right? So according to the purpose, he selects the body. And yeah, so that's about incarnations. And like those, another incarnation is Buddha avatar. Okay, this is a snippet.
Mataji, I have a doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Is there any difference between Avatara and Yuga Avatara, Mataji?
Yuga avatara is a type of an avatara. Yuga avatara is a type of an avatara.
So
Okay.
it comes under Avatara.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is a snippet again from Dashavatar Stotra describing Buddha avatar. Nindasi yagnya videraha shruti jatam Sadaya hridaya darshita pashugatam Keshavadruta Buddha Sharira Keshavadruta Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So what does this mean? O Keshava, O Lord of the who have assumed the form of Buddha, all glories to you. O Buddha, the compassionate Buddha of compassionate heart, you decry the slaughtering of poor animals performed according to the rules of Vedic sacrifices. Okay, so he comes and stops animal sacrifice. Lot of Vedic scriptures has reference that Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Lord Krishna. Yeah, so we have lot of some debates are still going on, actually saying Buddha is not an incarnation of the Lord. He's just a saint Why? Basically, it's because Buddha comes and says there is no soul. And Buddha also comes and says there is no Vedas. What are you doing? What Vedic sacrifice are you doing when Vedas do not even exist? That's what Buddha says. Okay. So because of this argument, a lot of people say, how can Lord Vishnu come and says Vedas do not exist? How can Lord Vishnu come and say soul doesn't exist? Right? He is actually misleading the population, misleading the civilization. Buddha is not an incarnation of the Lord. But Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of all the scriptures, right, which is the king of all the scriptures, spotless scripture, right? Srimad Bhagavatam says Buddha is an incarnation of the Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam also says why Buddha told all that, right? We will be seeing all that, right? And Harivamsha also says Buddha is an incarnation of the Lord. Garuda Puran, Vishnu Puran. Vishnu Puran itself says Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Vishnu, right? So what more do we need? And in Nectar of Devotion also we have an instance saying Lord Buddha is accepted as an incarnation of Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but in the same Srimad Bhagavatam it is stated that Lord Buddha appeared in order to bewilder the atheistic class of men. Therefore, his philosophy is meant for bewildering the atheists and should not be accepted. Right? So, if you see, ISKCON does not worship Buddha. ISKCON accepts Buddha as an incarnation of the Lord, right? Just Srimad Bhagavatam, how it states that Buddha is an incarnation of Bhagavatam says it's not needed to worship Buddha, right? Why? Because the purpose, like I already told you, each incarnation is purpose based, right? Here, why did Buddha appear? It's the purpose is really important here, right? Like we already saw, people were performing Vedic rituals, right, of sacrificing animals for their sense gratification. After that, they would go and just feed on them, right? And then they would say, no, we are doing correct only because it's given in the Vedas, right? But we need to understand that yuga comes into consideration. In which yuga are they doing this sacrifice? They are doing it in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, Prabhupada mentions, in one of his lectures, all the mantras have gone to hell. Okay, only Hare Krishna Mahamantra is acting right now. All the mantras have gone to hell, right? That means when you chant those Vedic sacrifices, mantras to sacrifice animals, right? Whatever mantras you need to chant for these animal sacrifices, you sacrifice an animal, those mantras are not even that called ritual, right? How is that called ritualistic sacrifice? How is it called so, right? Because those mantras are not even acting. Okay, that is one reason. Secondly, you do not have a brahmana, right? A competent brahmana who can pronounce those mantras properly and chant, right? We do not really have a competent brahmana to pronounce those mantras properly. A mantra can, even if you chant so properly in a so perfect way only, it's very difficult for a mantra to act, right? And now here these brahmanas that we have around us cannot even pronounce them properly. How will it act then, right? So and it's given in the scriptures why we are not supposed to perform these sacrifices, because in Kali Yuga, for any sacrifice for that matter, high quality ingredients are needed. Like for fire sacrifices, you need pure high quality ghee, pure ghee. Where do you even find pure ghee? Where do you even find an original cow today? It's all hybrid. What do you call that, mix and match of genes, right? And then they create a different breed of cow and a species of cow which gives lots of milk and all that. So finding a proper cow only is a big deal. Where do you find proper ghee then, right? So it's highly impossible to perform those sacrifices, and that's why it's given in the scriptures what should be done where and what at what time, right? During the time of Satya Yuga, you need to go to the forest and meditate. You cannot sit and do fire sacrifices at that time. Treta Yuga, yeah, you have to do fire sacrifices because you have access to these pure ingredients. Okay, and next in Dwapar Yuga, again, the quality of ingredients is so less. Even the mantra chanting is so, it's not up to the mark. So there also they say no need of fire sacrifices. You need to go to the temple and worship the deity, right? Decorate the deity and worship, temple deity worship. And in Kali Yuga, that also is not going to happen, right? Because people even are decorating the deity, God knows what kind of mind, both good and bad, are in the same person, right? You might be talking good, you might be thinking good. After a moment, you will start getting demoniac thoughts in you, right? Because we are controlled by Maya. We are not making any effort to fight against Maya, right? Because we are completely under the control of Maya, and so demoniac thoughts are like very natural, right? So what is the, I mean, it's offenseless deity worship is again a dream in Kali Yuga, right? That's why it is said you just have to sit at home and perform Harinam Sankirtan, right? Or Japa Yajna. Just chant the holy name of the Lord. And that too, from 64, Prabhupada has brought it down to 16 rounds, right? 16 rounds takes just 2 hours. So you just have to chant the holy name of the Lord for 2 hours, 16 rounds every single day. And that is all we need to do. That is all we need to do. No animal sacrifice, nothing, right? So that is what Lord Buddha comes and says, what sacrifice are you talking about, right? So Buddha is especially, it is to mislead atheistic men. If you want to bring a person to your track, right, or to your path, you have to first go in that person's path. Okay, this is like even Chanakya Pandit says this, and it's pretty common sense, right? If you want to go and change someone, you have to first go and impress them, please them by following what they believe, what they want, right? By going on along their path, you have to bring them to your path, right? That's exactly what Buddha did, right? Atheists say there is no God, there is no nothing, there is no supreme proprietor, nothing, right? Then, so Buddha came and told the same thing to those atheists. Yes, there is no God. Exactly, there is no God, there is no soul, there is no Vedas, nothing. Then why are you doing all this, right? So that's what Buddha came and focused more on, what is needed for people to go to the platform of goodness, right? After you reach goodness only, you can reach Shuddha Sattva, right? First, you need to sattva guna. Then you can reach Shuddha Sattva guna. And or spiritual practices happen on the level of Shuddha Sattva guna, not even Sattva guna. So, but in Bhagavad Gita it is given, if you want to reach Shuddha Sattva guna, you have to first reach Sattva guna, right? Or goodness. Then you can reach pure goodness. So Buddha came and brought all of them to the mode of goodness. He preached ahimsa, right? That is the very famous preaching of Buddha. Ahimsa, then patience, then manners, right? People did not even have manners those days, right? So everything, he made everything possible to bring these atheistic people, demoniac people to the platform of goodness. And from goodness, yeah, they can go forward either in that janma or next janma. Definitely Krishna will take them forward. But coming to the platform of goodness is very important. That's exactly what Buddha did, right? So he said there is no soul. Yes, there is no God. There is no Vedas. Nothing. All that is just fiction. Okay, it's just fantasy, myth. Okay, mythology. So there is nothing. So if you are saying that you are so that this animal will get a future human life in the next janma, I'm telling there is no soul only. How will this animal get the human janma in the next janma? Right? There is no soul only. This animal dies and that's all. That's the end of it. You die and that's the end of it. Right? So there is no soul. It's just body concept. That's what Buddha did, just to attract the select sect of men, not everybody. Right? So Buddha is for these atheistic people, not for Vaishnavas like us or not for devotees like us. That's why we are not supposed to worship Buddha, but we are supposed to respect Buddha. And we are supposed to glorify Buddha when we study scriptures and all, because he's an incarnation of the Lord. Right? See how cleverly Buddha misled these people. To bring them back to the right track. Right? That is a lesson which we are supposed to learn, cherish, apply in our life. Right? That's why we have to glorify the Lord. तथा कलौ संप्रवृत्ते मोहाया सुरद्विषां बुद्धो न कीकतेषु भविष्यति. So it says bhavishyati here. That means in future, there's somebody called Buddha who is going to appear. That is what is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam was composed in Dwapar Yuga. Okay. In Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga also was not even there. Right? After Dwapar Yuga only Kali Yuga came. Right? That's why it's given in future. And in Kali Yuga, the only avatar, discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first avatar discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam of Kali Yuga is Buddha avatar, right? Balram avatar was also in Dwapar Yuga. So that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam it says, okay, fine, now Kali Yuga comes, and in future, when Kali Yuga comes, Buddha also will come. And the prediction, so it was a prediction in Srimad Bhagavatam, and it came true, right? So if this has come true, everything else should also come true, right? So definitely Kalki Bhagwan will also come, okay, at the end of Kali Yuga. So in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will as Buddha avatar, the son of Anjana of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist. Okay, so the purpose is also given here. So the mention of Buddha avatar is given in Vishnu Puran as well. So what does it say? Evam buddhyat buddhyatvam buddhyat vaimatriyat triyan maya mohasa deiteyan dharma matyayanjan nijam nana pravachanam satesham yukti yojitam. Okay, so basically what it is said is, this is from Vishnu Puran. So what it is said is, Parashar Muni says, in this manner, exclaim them, no, buddhyadvam. And they replying, it is known, buddhyati. These daityas were introduced by the arch deceiver to deviate from their religious deities and to become Buddhas by his repeated arguments and variously urged persuasions. When they abandoned their own faith, they persuaded others to do the same and deserted the practices enjoined by the Vedas and the laws. That's why we have the sect called Buddhism, Buddhists, right? Today, they are all followers of the Buddha, right? So what do? When you go and talk to Buddhas, they say very clearly, God doesn't exist, Vedas do not exist, right? That's what they say, right? There is no soul, there is no Punarjanma, there is no Purva Janma, nothing as such, right? And they consider Lord Buddha to be a saint, not not Lord or any incarnation or anything. He's just a saint, he's just a leader, he's just a reformer, and he's our leader, so we follow him. That's what Buddhists say today. Okay, and Buddhists are originally supposed to be vegetarian. I don't know what happened. They abandon. So followers of Buddhas got impressed by Buddha's words, right, and all that, and they left their own religion, even if they are Hindus or whatever religion they were belonging to. They left all that. They deserted the practices of Vedas, right, to join to follow Buddhism, right? So mainly when we say deserted the practices of Vedas, that means we are talking only about the animal sacrifices here, okay, because that was the only thing Buddha fought against, right? And then he preached ahimsa. Then Srimad Bhagavatam, it's given, devadvisham nigama vartmani nishintanam पूर्भिर्मयेना विहिताभिरदृश्यतुर्भि लोकान्नतामति विमोहम् अतिप्रलोभम् वेषं विधाया बहुभाष्यता औपुधर्म्यम्. So when the atheists, after being well versed in scientific knowledge, annihilate inhabitants flying unseen in the sky on well-built rockets prepared by the great scientist Maya, the Lord will bewilder their minds by dressing himself attractively as Buddha and will preach on sub-religious principles. So this is the situation today as well, right? Atheists or any materialist, take for example any materialist who are very well educated on the material platform. They don't know scriptures or anything, but they have good degrees in and PhDs in all their studies in colleges and schools and all that, right? And they've become scientists, they've become all powerful people, maybe VIPs in government jobs and all that, right? And what do? They completely ignore the presence of the Lord, right? They are not ready to accept the authority of the Supreme Lord. They do not accept the Supreme Lord's authority, right? If they really act, they would have found out from the travel to other planetary systems instead of sitting and making wooden spaceships and all that, and then going to other planets, right? So reaching other planets is depending on your karma. It's not, okay, I make a spaceship, I'll reach the moon. I will make a spaceship and I will reach this particular planet. Right? In Vedas, it is given. Not everybody can travel to those planets, right? If you want to enter those, you should have sufficient pious deeds in your account. Some kind of good karma you should have done. Only then you can go into the moon. Moon has much more higher level of enjoyment compared to Earth. Right? So if you want to enjoy that high quality enjoyment, if you want to have in your life, you should perform pious deeds. And with those deeds, if you're qualified, then you can enter moon. Not by making spaceship, right? That's what Prabhupada says in all the purports. The scientists are really wasting their time, right? So I was listening to a lecture in that this told, they actually go and land up. They land up, okay, with their spaceship, and they call that moon, they call that Mars, they call that some planet. What is the proof that that is really the moon? That what is the proof that that is really the Mars? Right? What is the proof? What is the proof? They might end up somewhere else and they call it something else, right? Like in the Puranas, it's given moon is very cool and nice and all that, right? But when there are some scientists describing moon to be desert, too many stones and too many some parts of the moon are very hot and all that, right? So that Prabhu said, okay, fine, if you say some other planets people come and land up on Earth and say they land up in Sahara desert, they will say, okay, Earth means it's only desert. But Earth, in fact, most part of the Earth is made of water. So people also say Earth is blue planet, right? But for them, they will say it's just desert. Earth means desert. I can see sand dunes everywhere, right? Wherever you land up, because of all, you will come to conclusions based on whatever you can see, right? But there's a bigger picture that we are not able to see because of our imperfect senses, right? For example, Ravan wanted to build staircase directly to heaven. Okay, anybody, any person can just climb over, take that staircase and go to heaven, right? But that is not the way we go to heaven, right? How can we go to heaven? Whether you do bad things, good things, everybody is allowed to take that staircase and go to heaven. No, only good people are allowed to go to heaven, right? In Vedas, it's given you need to be very good. You need to perform a lot of charity, lot of sacrifices, right? You need to do a lot of worship of this god, that god, and then if your pious deeds are there in your account, then you can go to heaven. Not everybody is given a chance because heaven is 10 million times higher quality enjoyment there, right? Here we eat with wooden spoons and all. In heaven, it's just only gold. And there's nobody who's poor in heaven. Nobody goes like that. Whatever they want gets manifested, right? That is how heavenly planets are. And you cannot just go there and just like that. You need some qualification, right? So that's why it's given over here. Atheistic people try to rule over, they try to overtake the Vedas, or the rules and regulations given in the Vedas, qualifications given in the Vedas. Right? Nothing. I have the power. I will go. Who can stop me? That is how atheists are, right? So Buddha says, the Lord is very merciful upon everybody, because even atheists are his children, devotees are also his children, demons are also his children only, right? So because the Lord is so merciful, he came as, he incarnated himself as Buddha to bring them to the right path so that they don't spoil their, life or future janmas. Rather, they come to goodness and then they can gradually raise to Shuddha Sattva or pure goodness, right? So he's our father. He came only to help them, right? By misleading him, helping them. भूमेर्भरावा तरनाय युदुष्व जन्म जाता कृष्यति सुरैरपि दुष्कराणि वाधैर्विमोहयति यज्ञो कृता अतद् अर्हान् शूद्रान् कलौक्षति भुजो न्यहनिस्यादन्ते. So to diminish the burden of the earth, the unborn Lord will take birth in the Yadu dynasty and perform feats impossible even for the demigods. Propounding speculative philosophy, the Lord as Buddha will bewilder the unworthy performers of Vedic sacrifices. And as Kalki, the Lord will kill all the low class men posing as rulers at the end of age of Kali. Okay, so more bad people means more burden on earth, because earth, she is the one carrying us, right? So if we are good, if we are, then we are trying, doing something or the other to please the Lord. And earth, Mother Earth, being Bhudevi, is also a devotee of the Lord, Varahadev's wife, right? So if you are trying to please the Lord, then she will like you, and that holding you will not be a burden. But holding a lot of atheistic people who do not even respect the Lord, demons, right, who just want to do what they want to do, is certainly, why should earth hold all of them? That is a burden on earth, right? So the Lord is again the husband of Mother Earth, right? So he understands Mother Earth's problem, and he comes down once in a while when there are more of miscreants, accumulated on earth. He comes down. He himself comes down as an incarnation to clear this earth, right? Same thing happened with Parashuram Avatar. Same thing happened with Balram Avatar. Same thing happened with all the incarnations. And Buddha also came for this very purpose. He did not kill anybody. Rather, he tried to transform them, change their mind, and bring them to the right path, right? So to diminish the burden of given over here to bewilder the unworthy performers of Vedic sacrifices. Okay, so that's why I kept saying, by misleading, he was actually correcting them. He was not really misleading them to bewilder them. He was bewildering them to correct them. Okay. So this is given in Harivamsha. In the future avatars, Buddha will appear first, and then he will be famous avatar called Kalki, also known as Vishnu Shaya. Okay, and Vishnu will appear in Shamal village for the welfare. This is about Kalki avatar. So Buddha will also appear. So in Kali Yuga, two avatars mentioned here in the list of Dashavatars. First is Buddha avatar, next is Kalki avatar. Kalki is not called as Kali Yuga avatar because he comes at the end of Kali Yuga, right? He is the one who comes and ends Kali Yuga, okay, by killing all the demons there. In Kali Yuga, at the end of Kali Yuga, all people will be demons only. Will be left behind. All the other good people would have already gone back home, back to Godhead. Okay, that's why we are supposed to take Krishna consciousness very seriously, is because of this very reason. Okay, because at the end of Kali Yuga, if you're still here, if you've still not being able to achieve, this position of going back home, back to Godhead, then you'll be left over. You have to go till end of Kali Yuga, take birth, and go till end of Kali Yuga, and get chopped off by Kalki Bhagwan. Okay, and that is not going to help us in advancing in Krishna consciousness, right? So we have to make use of ISKCON now, and make use of this opportunity now, and then go back home, back to Godhead. Then this is given in Garuda Puran. Okay, so what is happening in Garuda Puran? That in the yeah, in the age of Kali, the Lord was born in Kikatas as Buddha. He deluded the asuras and flouted the Vedas. Okay, so this is also a mention in Garuda Puran. There are a lot of instances to show that Buddha is definitely none other than the Lord himself. Okay, and here it says the names of 10 incarnations: Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narada, Sri Ram, Parashuram, Krishna. It's actually Balram. Buddha and Kalki shall be remembered always. Okay, now we learn about Buddha. Okay, a little about Buddha. So as you see in the picture, Buddha was actually a king's, son. He was a prince. Okay, and his name was Gautam, right? Yeah, Siddhartha Gautam. Okay, and then what happened? He was never let out of the kingdom. He was a very pampered child. Okay, he was given all the opulences of the kingdom. Right, his comfort was always a chief priority for the king and the queen. Okay, so he okay, and he did not even know poverty, because he did not mingle with anybody who is poor. He did not even know all that. His parents brought him up in a very, very pampered way, that all his friends were also rich people. Okay, he played only with rich people. No poverty. He did not know disease. Okay, they used to take care of him so well. No cough, no cold, right? Even if he got cough and cold, immediately doctors were called. So no disease. He did not even know disease. Okay, and he did not know old age. Okay, and completely he was grown up in a very different, sumptuous palace, a different level of comfort and all that, right? But at the age of 29, right, he went out. Right, he went out of the palace just to see the world, outside world. He got introduced to the outside world at the age of 29, right? And when he just went out, right, he goes out only on chariots, right? That time he saw three people, right? What are sorry, yeah, here you can see, right? One is a old person. He's so old, right? Old people, it's old age is, people say old age is actually a curse, because health issues they will have. They'll have so many problems. They can't do things on their own. They need help for everything. And they have to go literally beg their family members, do this for me, do that for me, right? They don't remember things. They can't digest the food they eat properly. They have so many diseases and all that, right? So old age is very, very bad. Okay, and first time he saw the old person for the first time. Okay, and then he saw a sick person. Okay, and then he saw a dead body. Okay, so three things he saw first. So first is old person, then he saw a very sick person. You can see over here, right? Hunchback, and he can't even walk properly. He's limping and all that, right? That is a sick person. And then he saw a dead body. He did not even know there's something called death, right? He did not know there's something called death. He was given every comfort in the world. Why will he even think about death or anything as such? Right? So these are the three kind of people he saw. Right? Old person, first time. Then second chariot ride, he saw a sick person. And third chariot ride, he saw a dead person. Right? And on the fourth trip, he saw a wandering holy man who's asceticism, that is austerity, right? Inspired him, Buddha, and to follow a similar path in search of freedom. So first three chariot rides he saw these people. Fourth ride he was out of the house. Right? He did not want. He never got back to the. He got back to house. Right? When he came out on the fourth chariot ride, he met a rishi, a sage, and he was inspired by his austerity, because he understood what is life just by seeing these kinds of people. Old person, he understood that life is not going to last. Everything else in this life is temporary. Okay, this is the philosophy understood by seeing old person. Okay, everything in this world is temporary. Our life is also going to be temporary one day. Okay, next, when he saw sick person, he understood the karma, the concept of karma. If you do something good, you get back good, yes, but mostly we do bad things and we have to suffer. Or whether we like it or not, we have to suffer, right? When he saw that sick person, he was actually begging. Okay, because he was so sick he couldn't work, right? To eat, to cook and eat, he couldn't work, so he was begging. So then he understood, okay, so even if you become good and even if you become a person that who can gain sympathy of others, when you become sick, the karma will not going to leave you. You have done one mistake at this particular janma, this kind of mistake. You have to suffer even if you become good after doing that bad mistake, right? Because that is the karma. Every good you do, you have to you have to face the bad. You cannot balance the bad by doing one good karma. It's not going to balance. It's independent. It works independently, right? That's what he understood. And then when he saw dead, right, then he understood, okay, fine, this is what we are ultimately going to become, right? We are all going to die one day. And what are we doing? What are we proud of in this life, right? All of us, how much of a proud we are ultimately going to die one day, right? And when you die, all the family attachments, your very own family member will not keep you in your house, right? Anybody will keep. They'll say, oh, dead body, it's stinking, go throw it, right? Or let's do antim sanskar. Who will keep the dead body? Nobody will keep, right? But as long as you're alive, when the soul is there in the body, when the body has chaitanya, then everybody will be like, oh, this is my sister, this is my daughter, this is my wife, this is my brother, right? So he understood all the family attachments will end with just one called death, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham, right? Whatever you've you would have made a lot of property, lot of money, right? Lot of certificates you would have had. You would have been a very highly educated person in the society. What is going to come with you? Not even inch of anything will come with you. Whatever jewelry, one chain that you're wearing on your body, that also won't come with you to the graveyard. They will take all the jewelry and then they will send you to the graveyard, right? So nothing comes with you. So what are you proud of? Right, that is the philosophy he understood when he saw the dead body. And then he understood, okay, so we are supposed to use this body to engage ourselves in the devotional service of the Lord. Okay, and that is one thing he understood, and that's why he took up this great philanthropic activity. Right, philanthropism is not about feeding the poor, giving shelter for the homeless. No, that is not called philanthropism. Philanthropism is something that you give. When you give it, it is supposed to give them a benefit. That is called philanthropism. The best philanthropist, Prabhupada, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, right? They are all best of the philanthropists because they are giving people something which gives them eternal benefit, right? They benefit here, now, right now, and in their next life as well, right? So Buddha is coming under that category of super philanthropist. Okay, so fourth time he just left his house. He never went back after that, right? And that's how he became, from Siddharth Gautam he became Buddha. Okay, and he started analyzing how to change people, right? He understood, how the world is working, how people are behind sense gratification, right? In Kali Yuga, he understood he is the Lord himself, come on, so he will get all the knowledge that he needs, right? And that's how he started working towards transforming the world and liberating people from the cycle of birth and death, right? And so he sat and meditated all night beneath the peepal tree, and then he got enlightened. So he's the Lord himself. He doesn't have to sit and meditate. Show how he's representing a people in Kali Yuga. People in Kali Yuga is supposed to perform some austerity to get knowledge. Just like that, they cannot get knowledge or anything, right? That is called hallucination. So that's why to show to people how people have to behave, he also sat and took up this tapasya, meditated under a peepal tree, and he accepted a guru. This one austerity, one person who was performing an austerity, right? He accepted him as a guru, and then he also meditated, and that's how he became Buddha. Okay, and peepal tree is today called as Bodhi Vriksha because the Lord came in. Lord got enlightened under this tree, peepal tree. So it's called Bodhi Vriksha, and yeah, so he understood, and so why did Siddharth Gautam become Buddha is because he wanted to help people solve the four main problems of life, that is birth, death, old age, and disease, right? That is what he learned, no? By seeing those three people, birth, death, old age, and disease. So that's what he learned. Okay, sorry, one more slide I missed. Yeah, so Buddha used a weapon called non-violence, and ahimsa was his weapon. That's how he saved all the animals, right? And what weapon did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu use? Any idea? Anybody knows? Buddha used non-violence. What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu use?
Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hari Bol. Very nice. That was his weapon, right? And yeah, with that we end. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. Next class we will be doing Kalki Avatar. Okay, and we will end. This module gets completed then with Kalki Avatar, and then you'll be given your certificates, and we will start with the next module. It's on Acharyas. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. The Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any doubt?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Questions?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. No questions, right? Okay, we can end. Vancha, yeah, done. Hare Krishna. Thank you.